Welcome back to my channel. So, oh, well, first things first, it's me, still Khandy. I cut my hair. I did the big chop. Um, there are a plethora of reasons why that's a whole nother video that can take all day, but I love it. Thank you so much. But yeah, enough about the hair, but yes, it's still me. So today our video is going to be about what I feel is probably the most asked question I see in a lot of these adoption groups that I am in, and is probably what people are most nervous about in the beginning of their adoption journey, and it is the home study. I think before we did our home study, it was daunting because all you hear of is all these negative things, and what are they looking for? How do I fail? You know, are they going to come and open up my cupboards? How clean does my house have to be? You know, does my dog have to be perfectly trained? Suppose the dog jumps on her. Suppose the dog barks. Suppose, you know, I don't have a fire extinguisher. What are they looking for? So right now I'm just here to kind of tell you about why we chose the agency that we chose, how our home study went, and exactly, this is the exact packet, as you see it right here, this is the exact packet that I used for our home study. So preparing for your home study, picking an agency and a social worker. So as I said in the previous video, which I guess I can leave a link below with that video, we chose a preferred agency that our adoption agency recommended, and I'm happy that we did, because we had a seamless experience with her. She was actually able to expedite everything when it came down to it, because again, we were in communication with a previous birth mom and that fell through, but because that happened, everything was expedited. And then we got the call about our daughter when she was actually born, and because everything was already expedited with the previous birth mom a few weeks prior, she was able to kind of just, I guess, you know, finish up the last minute paperwork that she needed to do, send it over to us. We were able to just kind of finalize it, and it was just completed. So she was amazing. I wouldn't say your home study agency is the place that you kind of need to cut corners. I wouldn't go there. So what will you need? The first thing that she did was she sent us over an email, and in the email it had bullet points of every single thing that we were going to need to do for her. And so with that, it was going to be, and I actually have it written down here, so it was kind of just like a checklist of everything that we were going to have to do. So I'll just kind of go over it. It was going to be the application that you actually need to send in to her. So we needed to send that in before she even kind of accepted us and told us, okay, you can go ahead and be my client. So it was the application. It was an application fee, and we needed to send a check in with that. Then once we did that, she asked for a marriage certificate. We needed both of our birth certificates. We needed income verification, employment verification, a monthly breakdown of our expenses. We both needed to write autobiographies, which to me, they were the coolest things, because I felt like once Kenny and I read each other's, and she gave specific things that she was looking for in the autobiography, I feel like Kenny and I learned things about us that we didn't know. There were things that I don't know, but we just never spoke about. Even as far as us dating and meeting each other, and things that we thought about each other that, you know, before we actually had that kind of romantic connection, because we were not friends in the beginning. This was not a love at first sight type situation. But reading his autobiography, he did think I was kind of cute. So, zippity doo. So autobiography. They need proof of citizenship or naturalization paperwork. Of course, copies of your driver's license, FBI fingerprints. So she's going to send over application for you to do that. Your SBI fingerprints, and that's State Bureau Investigation fingerprints. And then once you do that, you're going to have to send her the results from both agencies. Then you are required to have a physical, both of you. So you are going to get a copy of a document that she sends over, and you bring it to your doctor. He fills it out. It's very simple. It is the most basic thing ever. It kind of just gives your demographics, your height, your weight, if you have any pre-existing conditions that would kind of hinder you from parenting a child. That's pretty much what it is. It is not invasive by any means necessary. And then there is something called an RIL, and that is a child abuse background check. That is the one thing that will kind of halt you. That is what she asked for you to send back first, because she can send that out on her own. If that comes back as a red flag, you can kind of consider this a null and void, because you cannot go ahead with the adoption process if that comes back with a hit on it, that you have a charge against you for child abuse in any federal kind of circuit. So go ahead and just fill that out and send that to her immediately. Once that comes back clear, she will go ahead and just process everything else. So get that back to your person as soon as possible. And then your home study payment. Our home study payment, we did not, and she's going to give you a breakdown as to the different payments, and there will be payment schedules. Our home study payment wasn't due until we actually had our physical interview with her. So this wasn't something that we sent her in the beginning. The only payment that we actually made to her was the cost for the application fee. Now, depending on where you live, now we live in North Carolina. However, our home study agent, our social worker, she is about 3 hours away from us. So she does charge mileage to come past 100 miles. She didn't charge us that, but thank you for that. But that is something that you need to take into consideration when choosing a home study social worker. This is for a private adoption. Okay. Again, this is for a private adoption. When you are going through the foster care system, I have heard, and again, I have not done this, but they will be very specific as to things that they want. Each child needs to have their own room. Certain breeds of dogs aren't allowed. We have an Italian Mastiff, a Cane Corso, which some deem to be a dangerous dog. Our social worker didn't care. You know what I mean? In the foster care system, I don't believe that if we had Brooklyn, we would have been able to pass that home study. They sometimes already want you to have your cabinets childproof locked. They want you to have the fire extinguisher. There's just certain things that they feel like they need to have in the house in order for them to say that it is safe for a child to live there. Our home study agent was just like, you filled out your paperwork. We met you. You guys seem great. Your house seems safe. You have more than enough room for a child. Your dogs seem friendly. That was it for us. Again, I think every social worker is different. I think every agency is different. So I, again, would recommend you starting your home study as soon as possible. And another thing I'm going to tell you is, whoever's watching this video, if you're a couple, whoever's watching this video is going to do all the home study stuff by themselves. Kenny did nothing. He signed some papers, okay? And it was whatever I put in front of him, he signed. So understand that every single thing in this folder, besides that autobiography, you're going to be taking care of it. So everything that needs to get mailed off, every check that needs to go out, every money order that needs to be, purchased, you're going to do it. So just stay on it and keep it organized. Keep a copy, literally keep a copy of every single receipt. Put a little Post-it tab on every single thing, because when it is time to file your taxes, you're going to need a copy of every single little thing. Also, when you are placed with a child and you have to go to the hospital, if you are doing an out-of-state adoption, you need all of this with you, because if anything happens with your ICPC or the hospital, you need to have proof of all this documentation with you before you can leave with that child. So make sure that you have this in a very safe place. I always kept this in our safe. Always kept this in our safe, in a book bag, but in this same folder with all these Post-its. I knew where everything was in a drop of a dime. But make sure you keep this safe and keep every single thing together. And every single thing, and another thing that I recommend is every single thing that you mail out, make a photocopy of it. So if you don't have a copy machine at home, make sure that when you go to work, or if you can go to a public library, wherever you can go, make a photocopy of everything so that you have a copy of it, whatever it is. Because if something gets lost, chances are that's the one copy that you're going to have. Okay, so just please make sure that you are keeping track of all of this paperwork, because this is what's going to get you the baby. If you don't have this home study stuff, it's just not going to happen. This is your adoption right here in your hand. This paperwork right here is your adoption. So that is my video on the home study. If you have any additional questions or any feedback, please leave any questions or comments below. I want you to go ahead and like, and if you have not already, please subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.